We're here at McGill University for the 2014 CETA Conference, and it's our pleasure to be with Mr. Marc Bungenberg. He's a professor at the University of Siegen and an expert in international business law. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about how the CETA is going to impact government procurement.
Well, CETA is going to open up new business opportunities, especially for European companies in Canada. So from this perspective, we really have an internationalization of this field, new possibilities to EU firms, not really vice versa, because Canadian companies already have access to the European market. So up to now we have had an imbalance between European and Canadian firms to the advantage of Canadian firms. Canadian firms were allowed to participate in procurement projects on the European market, but not the same for the European companies in Canada. So this will change. This will have a dramatic impact, I assume, for the entire sector, for the regulation of public procurement on this side of the Atlantic.
Was this one of the European Union's priorities in the negotiations?
I think for the European Union, even though it was not really in the public debate, but public procurement was one of the main issues for the European Commission who negotiated the CETA text for the European Union. Yes, I would say public procurement is definitely one of the top topics in all free trade agreement negotiations the European Union is going through at this time.
You're also looking into the issue of investment very closely in your research. I'm wondering what stood out from the CETA on investment for you.
It is the first time that the European Union has now negotiated an entire chapter, because it's a new conference for the European Union. Up to now the member states did negotiate those investment agreements, and this kind of a model for further negotiations the European Commission is going to, and the Commission had a big opportunity to set up a new model with Canada on a high standard, following the rule of law, really putting into the negotiations a lot of public consent and data transparency. So we see new approach, and thanks to the negotiations with Canada, I think we see, at least in this aspect, new generation of international investment law. So actually, from my perspective, it's the issue of transparency in investment law.
Is there any link between the ISDS procurement in the agreement or other provisions?
I would say yes, because right now some member states ask the Commission to reopen the negotiations with Canada again to get ISDS out of CETA. So if we start discussions in regard to ISDS, probably we have further discussions in regard to public procurement, and from the Canadian perspective, maybe also the idea of taking back market access offer in the area of public procurement, kind of in an exchange for taking back ISDS and investment. So I think that's definitely the thing.
And which were the European countries who are most concerned with the investment and investor-state dispute?
Well, right now it's especially Austria and Germany.
I'm sure you will be watching this very closely, as will we. And we thank you very much for your time today, Professor Bungenberg.
Thank you for your time talking to me.